Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is November the 29th. There are 8 games, I think, in the NBA for today. 8 games in the NBA for today. We're going to jump into it, man. We're going to jump into it. As always, hit the like button for me, especially if you appreciate these weekend shows on a Saturday. And let's go. Let's jump into it. So yesterday, one official play for me. Gave it out to you guys on the show. Sent it out to the members a little bit after the show. It was just Devin Booker under. It just made the most sense to me as I kind of talked about it yesterday. So 1-0 day under the 24.5 points. He finished with 21. Did hit a 3 in the fourth quarter late. I was getting kind of nervous, but he was able to stay under. So 1-0 day yesterday. Couple other things I talked about wouldn't have cashed. Couple other things I talked about would have cashed. That's just how it goes. But I've been treading lightly in the NBA, especially on the weekend. I'm going to tread lightly again today. So hopefully you guys were able to make some money, man. Hit the like button for me as you join. Definitely helps out the show, helps out the algorithm. Let's jump into it for today, man. We are going to start as we always do. I actually saw this comment before I started from Real Talk. He says, morning community. Just a reminder, weekends ball have been goofy. Tread lightly. Took Toronto and Miami moneyline parlay for plus money. I don't think that's a bad look at all today. I like this. I like that a lot. What's up, Free Sauce? Appreciate you for tapping in. Good morning, Tatiana. Brian says top of the morning, Chris. How about them Lakers? Look over his points and assists, team total over. Let's find it at Lakers. I have not made any money with the Lakers, but they are the second best team in the Western Conference. Been absolutely hooping, man. Felt like they deserved to, get a little Laker treatment today, Why not? Nets under 106.5. We run it back again, back to back with travel. That is true, Free Sauce. I actually got that written down on my notes too. So let's jump into it. Free Sauce, let's go. All right, so let's jump into it, man. JaXon's coming off an 0-2 day yesterday. Dylan Harper was, I thought, a pretty good look yesterday. He ended up not grabbing any boards though. So the look for Dylan Harper was on his it was his points plus rebounds. Yeah, points plus rebounds over 13.5. He finished with, I think he had like 11 points, but he didn't grab any boards. So that was a loser. And then the first one was on the second one, was on Jalen Tyson, which he played well. He just didn't need any rebounds either. I think he had 9 points, but the number was 11.5. So 0-2 day for JaXon. I asked JaXon for the prompt that I put in JaXon, and as always, the link is in the description if you guys are interested in checking JaXon out for any of your handicapping needs. I asked JaXon for the 2 best player props on the board based on this season's stats and trends in the NBA. Also consider defense versus position. So JaXon likes Norman Powell over his 18.5 points. This makes a lot of sense. If you watch Desmond Bane absolutely carve up this defense last night, right? I think Desmond Bane went for 37. And you can compare his skill set to Norman Powell, in my opinion. So Norman Powell over his 18.5 points tonight against Detroit. This is Powell's operating at an elite scoring level. And the matchup dynamics suggest a high volume night that easily clears this line. So Powell's been one of the most consistent high volume scorers at his position this season, averaging well above the current line. So he's averaging 24.5 points per game, which ranks him in the 97th percentile amongst all wings. The average is a massive 6 point higher than the current line of 18.5. His scoring has been incredibly reliable, hitting the over 90% of his last 10 games, averaging 25 points during that span. Over his last 5 games, he's maintained an 80% hit rate, averaging 21.2. Home court, he's been even more efficient, over 87.5% of his 8 games this season, averaging 23.8, right at 24. What else we got? Pistons are 15th in defense versus against wings position for points, placing them squarely in the middle of the league. This neutral ranking is highly favorable for a player performing at Powell's elite level, as he is not facing a defensive specialist unit. Then there's some pace stuff here as well. We know that the Heat are number 1 in pace. Pistons are also top 15, high tempo environment, blah, 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 blah. Some usage and efficiency numbers as well. So that's the first one. The second one is actually in the same game, and it's Khalil Ware over his 10.5 boards. So it says that this is a high value pick due because it's plus money, plus 116 for Khalil Ware to grab 11 boards. It says he's averaging 10.9 this season, ranking him in the 95th percentile amongst bigs, which is slightly above the 10.5 line. The recent surge, his rebound numbers have exploded recently, averaging 14.6 over his last 5 games, 14.2 over his last 10 games. He's hit the over 80% of his last 10 games. When playing at home, he's averaging 12.5 boards over in 60% of those contests. And then the Pistons rank 17th in defense against bigs for rebounds. While this isn't the bottom of the tier, the Pistons are ranked 21st in defensive rebound percentage allowed, meaning they are poor at securing defensive rebounds and frequently give opponents second chance opportunities. So then you got a rebounding profile. I'm not gonna read all that, but just know JaXon got the looks. JaXon got the looks for today. Should be a nice little bounce back spot for today as well. So those are the 2 player prop looks for today, man. Let's jump into it for today. Link is in the description if you guys are interested in JaXon. All right, first up, we got the Boston Celtics. Beantown will be in Minnesota today. They are getting 7 points. Last night, I wrote down 7. Yeah, I wrote down 7. Total was 227 when I wrote it down. This is a 5 o'clock start time game. So just in case people are, we got 2 irregular start time games today. This one and the Toronto-Charlotte one, which we'll talk about in just a second. So we do have 2. So this is a 5 o'clock start time game. The total I see is up. It looked like consensus is 28, so it has moved the point here. You start with the injury report, of course, and you have Jaylen Brown listed as questionable. Kata is listed as questionable in this game as well. And then Derek White is listed as probable. Of course, there's no Tatum. And then on the Minnesota side of things, they are fully healthy. Nobody on the injury report for the Minnesota Timberwolves. So you got Boston playing first leg of back-to-back. They got a game in Cleveland tomorrow, which I would think that game would mean more than this one would. This is a non-conference road game, of course. Both of these teams are off, pretty good rest. Minnesota in their most recent game lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Lost to the Oklahoma City Thunder, which that puts Minnesota at 3 straight losses, right? Yeah, because they covered, but they did not win that game. They did not win against Minnesota. That was a group play game on Wednesday. So Minnesota has lost 3 straight games. They're just 3-5 against the spread at home. Boston has beaten Minnesota 3 straight times as well. So you get, some revenge from last season, 2 times revenge from last season. The way I kind of look at this game, especially with Boston being on the first leg of a back-to-back and Jaylen Brown being listed as questionable, as we know right now, what if Boston decides they want to, give Jaylen Brown the night off so he can play tomorrow when they play against the Cleveland Cavaliers? That's one thought process. That's one thought process. If everybody for Boston plays, though, I do kind of think that Boston will can keep this game close, right? Minnesota's also playing first leg of a back-to-back. They got the San Antonio Spurs coming to town tomorrow. So the more I looked into the game, and shout out to the Money Baller, I'm looking into the game last night. Based on what I saw, Celtics, I like the under. I think the under makes the most sense in this game. Under 228. I know it's hard to play totals in the NBA. We do see some of these numbers do start to go under, though. I feel like I'm comfortable with both 3-point defenses. I know both teams are just going to want to shoot a bunch of threes. So Celtics, they are 4th in defensive rating on the road. Minnesota, 3rd in defensive rating at home. Boston's also 26th in pace on the road, so they play a lot slower. Boston road games are averaging just 215 points combined. Minnesota is also 5-1 to the under as home favorites, and Boston is 6-2 to the under overall on the road this season. So I found some things that support the under. As far as player props go, there was one that jumped off the page to me last night when I was looking into this. I want to bring this up real quick so you guys can see it, and that is should have probably had this loaded already. Let's see. Yeah, I like this look right here. I'm gonna just share this so you guys can see it. I like this look right here on Dante DiVincenzo. Under his 3.5 assists. So you come down here, you can see Dante has he hasn't really been out there racking up a bunch of assists, right? Only under, this is under 3.5 assists. So you can see he's under in 7 of his last 10 games, averaging just right below 3. And you can see that he's under in 6 of his last 8 games, well, you can't see here, but he's under in 6 of his last 8 games when he plays against teams that are in the top half of the league in assists. Averages 2.6, so right at 2.5 rather than 3.5. And you can see here, Boston is one of the better defenses in the NBA as far as giving up assists, 5th. Also, I mean, in my opinion, like Dante DiVincenzo isn't out there to facilitate. I feel like that's more like Anthony Edwards' role. Mike Conley comes in. Julius Randle's also a really good facilitator. I consider Julius Randle under his assist prop as well, but Dante DiVincenzo is where I kind of landed at. So under for the full game, Dante DiVincenzo under would be my 2 leans. I haven't played either one of these officially yet, but that's the way I'm looking in this game. As long as nothing crazy happens with the injury report, those are the 2 ways that I'll be looking to play this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking here, and we'll jump into the next. Appreciate you, PMF. What up? Yeah, he says y'all be sure to hit the like button. Fade the Clippers again today. That's a fact. That's a fact, man. We'll talk about it. 77 Biggest says, sup, y'all? Spurs plus 8.5. Cleaned up nice. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. It was on the short list. I didn't get there. They were actually getting smoked at halftime, and Denver wet the bed in the 3rd quarter, and they continue to wet the bed in the 4th quarter. I did watch it. What up, Jay? Appreciate you for tapping in. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, you give up 130 points. I was watching it last night. Atlanta scored 30 points every quarter last night. Cavs don't care about the regular season. Free Sauce says, I like Norman Powell too. To be the top point scorer, plus 680. I like it. I think they're going through some growing pains right now, Free Sauce. I do think that to that comment, never trust the Nuggets again. I think they're going through some growing pains, which is why that line has come down so much. Yesterday was 6.5. It's down to 3.5. And we'll talk about it when we get there. Free Sauce also likes Hornets team total under. We'll talk about that in just a second. What up, Cap? Zach, appreciate you for tapping in. Jaylen Brown is questionable. Brian says Timberwolves minus 7.5. They bounce back after 3 straight losses today. What up, Mark? Appreciate you for tapping in. Took Nas Reed over his 19.5 points plus rebounds. Quee says. Young says taking under assists with the home team player always shaky for me. Or taking an over with the player on the away team. It'd be like that sometimes. Sometimes road teams be hooping, man. Sometimes they be hooping. Donovan Mitchell last night. You took his threes. You took his points. You felt good about yourself. He was on the road last night. Role players can play well. There was tons of role players that played well last night. Yeah. Nah, it ain't just that. It ain't just that. Dante DiVincenzo haven't been dominant. We talked about it as well. I'm not playing on Julius Randle. I feel like he got a pretty good matchup. He should be able to dominate the paint in this game. Timberwolves do. The Boston Celtics are a little soft on the front line, but they send a lot of traps, right? So that could be some 3-pointers for the Minnesota Timberwolves because they are a little smaller, in my opinion, than they typically have been. When you don't have Tatum, when you don't have Al Horford, when you don't have Kristaps Porzingis, Kata ain't it, in my opinion, especially on the offensive end. He can move his feet. Defense is all about, like effort. And I feel like he, do a little bit better on that end. All right, let's go to the next game. We got the Bulls and the Pacers. Did I skip over Toronto and Charlotte? I think I might have did. But the Bulls and the Pacers we'll talk about this game briefly. Let me just double check. Make sure I didn't put them out of order. Yeah, I'll talk about the Toronto and Charlotte game because I kind of do want to talk. I do want to talk about the game. I don't think I made a graphic for it. So, all right, let's skip to the Chicago and Indiana game. So, first thing we got to note is the injury report. Both of these teams, of course, played last night. Chicago was in Charlotte, and they have reverted back to being the Chicago Bulls, man. And I think a big part of it, for me, in my opinion, is really just, wanting to lay points with the Chicago Bulls on the road. Like, whenever they're a favorite, I don't really want anything to do with the Bulls. The Pacers are coming off a big-time win last night. They absolutely mollywopped the Washington Wizards at home. So both teams playing on the second leg of a back-to-back. Indiana didn't have to travel at all. They are playing second leg of back-to-back, third game is 4 nights, fourth game is 6 nights. So one thing I wanted to look at, and it's not that I can trust the Bulls to win by 5 points on the road against anybody, which is why this line has come down to 3.5, and I see some 4s popping up now. And total only continues to go up because Chicago defensively is putrid. I mean, they can't stop anybody. But the one thing I did think was pretty interesting was road teams specifically, laying points after not covering as a road favorite, and they're playing unrested. It means that, in my opinion, it means that they're favorites for some kind of reason, right? The Bulls lost last night, laying points in Charlotte, and then they're going on the road. The books know that the Pacers are playing second leg of back-to-back and, being at home, and they're coming off a win, and somehow the Bulls are still laying 4 points in this spot. I can't necessarily get there, but I will say that it's not a super strong trend. It's about 55%. It says to take the Bulls in a bounce back spot here. I can't do it with my money, though. The other thing I looked at was that was the full length of that trend, but I wanted to look at post-COVID. So since the 2021 season and now to this season, I wanted to look at unrested road favorites who previously lost as a road favorite. You typically see unders in the next game, 19-12 to the under. It's about 61% in a 31-game sample size since COVID, since the COVID season ended. So that would, lend itself towards an under here. I did write down 243.5 last night, and this total has come down a little bit to 242.5. So I don't know if it's one of those ugly ones where you kind of hold your nose and, you take it under. The Indiana defense, not that it has been great, but they did limit the Washington Wizards to, I think, 13 points in the fourth quarter. Maybe they got enough to, be competitive in this game. I'll probably be looking at them plus the points, and I'll probably be looking towards the under in this game. I think the total last night was 249, I think, between Chicago and Charlotte, and that game stayed under, I think, by 10 points last night. So can't trust the Bulls. Also, the Bulls have to submit their injury report. They had a lot of guys that were on the injury report yesterday. They all end up playing, but it don't mean that they'll all end up playing for this game. I think you also got to wait for the Pacers as well because they can submit their injury report. So just giving you guys quick thoughts on that one. Let's see. I like that, Breeze. What else y'all saying about this one? Looks like nothing. People don't care about this game. Josh Giddey props, Brian says. Mark says, remember that Bulls free diet from last year? I'm on it again for now. Yeah. I'm not messing with the Bulls either, Mark. I can't bet the Bulls. I need the Bulls to be getting 10 points at home as a dog. That's when I bet them, when I'm betting on them. I saw LaMelo go out there do whatever it is that he wanted last night. Malik chiming in, Chicago fan, says, so sick of the Bulls right now. No effort on defense, lean under on the total. Post game didn't give me any hope for this game, but we shall see. Yeah, that's a fact. That is a fact. Gusto says both of these teams are paid. Pacers have actually been covering. We won some money with the Pacers on Wednesday when they were in Toronto. They covered their game, ended up losing by just 2. They're getting a lot healthier now. I don't know. I don't know what the Pacers are going to do as far as the season goes because they dug themselves into such a big hole. But I mean, they have been covering. They've been covering a lot more than the Bulls. I saw that Outlier had tweeted out last night that the Bulls are, what was it? Let me see if I can find it real quick. The Bulls, after starting 5-0 and being number 1 in the Eastern Conference, are now 4-9 since, and they've dropped from 1st to 10th place. Typical Chicago Bulls style. That's what they do. And then, like I was saying with the Pacers, they're getting points. Typically, you want them, right? They've covered 5 games in a row now. Covered against Charlotte, covered against Cleveland, covered against Detroit, covered against Toronto, and then, as a favorite, one last night, covered that game as well. So, yeah, they got Cleveland up next, but they don't play again until Monday. So, yeah, I'd be looking towards Indy, too. I'm not wanting to lay points with Chicago. Not right now. Not for my money. All right, let's keep it moving. Next game up is, and I didn't really look too much into player props in this one. Benedict Mathurin should be somebody that should have a big game. I'm not sure how many minutes he played last night, but probably a look towards Benedict Mathurin. TJ McConnell. We'll see if Nembhard comes back because he didn't play last night. They get Nembhard back. I think the Pacers may try to win this game, actually. So we'll see. All right, next up, Pistons and the Heat. So we talked about this one a little bit yesterday. Of course, injury report-wise, Detroit can submit late. They did play last night. They lost the game. I thought that they were, in a nice little bounce back spot, and they didn't. Orlando, shout out to Desmond Bane, looked really, really good. So now you got this line opened at 2.5 last night as well. 2.5 threes. Total was 237.5. It's only gone up. And now you got the Pistons. Pistons in a terrible spot. It's a scheduled loss spot for the Pistons, and I think that's why this line is moving from 2.5 up to 3.5, now up to 4. I do think it's the right side. The Miami Heat should be able to take care of business in this game, and it's really just kind of taking the my guy Jay Money always said, taking the names off the back of the jersey, and this should be a spot for Detroit to fade, right? So Detroit has lost back-to-back games now after that remarkable 13-0 run that they were on. But now they're in a really terrible spot. So second leg of back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights as well. And they had to travel from Detroit to Miami for this game. They played one home game last night against Orlando after 4 straight road games, and then they back out on the road. It's a terrible spot for Detroit in this game. I think like I said, I think it's a little bit more of a scheduled loss. When I look at Miami, they're well rested, 2 days of rest, of course. Third straight home game, haven't had to travel at all. They've won 6 straight games. They've only gotten healthier with Tyler Hero. Granted, they didn't cover against the Milwaukee Bucks in that last game, but I think that they have enough. This Heat team, as they get healthier, is probably going to start to look scary just with how much they can do on the offensive end. The other thing I'll say about Detroit is you're starting to see, a little slippage here. Like Orlando was very physical with them last night. I kind of feel like Spo is going to be physical with them tonight as well. The other thing is Miami actually, I know that their offense is kind of taking a step back. I think as they've been trying to integrate Bam Adebayo back and Tyler Hero back into the lineup. So they haven't necessarily been covering, but defensively, they have been really, really good. I think they're a top 5 defensive team over the last 5 games. If not top 5, top 10. Yeah, they gave up 103 points to the Bucks. Granted, it was with no Giannis, but they gave up 102 to the Dallas Mavericks as well. 107 to the Chicago Bulls. Like, they've won 6 straight. They've covered 4 to 6. Well rested. To me, it's a Miami spot. Not trying to look at the game too easily, but I think Detroit definitely could run out of gas in this spot. The last thing I'll mention is when I talked about liking Detroit against the Boston Celtics a couple games ago when they were on the road in Boston, and they were laying like 2.5 in that game, three, whatever the number was. The pushback, was that Boston can shoot the 3-point shot, and Detroit has not done great defending the 3-point shot. Now we know what Miami can do. They should absolutely be able to light this Detroit team, up. And we know that the Heat are playing with pace. They're going to push, in my opinion, they're going to push Detroit up and down the floor and see if Detroit got enough offense to be able to stay with them. So we'll see what it looks like. But I do think that Detroit, I think they end up, the longer the game goes on, the more it favors Miami in this spot. I think Miami is in a nice little bounce back spot. If you like Detroit, maybe you want to play them early. Miami has been one of the best first half teams as well. Something else to consider in this game. We just cashed with Miami -4.5 in that last game against the Bucks. But Detroit could potentially run out of gas in this spot. All right, let's see what you guys are thinking here. Let's see. Gusto says, I do like TJ though, with no Nembhard. I thought TJ, I was going to send it out to the members. I didn't play it, but I was very, very close to playing TJ McConnell double last night. Like something small. I wasn't going to play it heavy, but I thought TJ McConnell was in a really good spot after Nembhard got rolled out. I don't think he got there, did he? Glad I didn't play it. He had 14 and 8. But if you played his points plus assists, you definitely cash. He had like 5 assists at halftime, though. Five, I think 6 assists at halftime. But the game ended up being a blowout. They beat the Wizards by 33 last night. And that's another reason to like him again today as well. Benedict Mathurin was the only player who played more than 30 minutes last night. This Pacers team not old. Like, I think the Pacers are allowed to win the game again tonight, especially if they can get especially if they can get Isaiah if they can get Nembhard in, Andrew Nembhard in tonight. Mark says he got -145 last night. I like it. I'm on the Heat, but I got 2.5. Like the Pistons first half, Dom says. Detroit has owned Miami, but this is a good spot for me. You're not going to find a better spot. Detroit has won 3 straight, covered 2 of the 3. A couple of those games went to overtime last season as well. Yeah. Heat -3. Miami first half full game, hero points. Hopefully Miami comes out aggressively. They should. Troy, $10 donation. Appreciate you, man. He says, yo, smooth guy Chris from Laker fan to Laker fan. Greatly appreciate the work you put into your craft. I need some bangers today. Let's crush the books. Appreciate you, Troy. Appreciate that for sure, man. Courtside tonight. I'm taking the over, Tatiana says. I catch this one live. Okay. All right, let's move over to the next one. We have what's the next one I had scheduled? Pelicans and the Warriors, and I'll go through the ones that I didn't talk about on the stream so far. So Pelicans and Warriors. Line open 8, up to 9 now. I saw 7.5. It's actually come back down to 8.5, but the consensus is 9. Total open 230, 223.5. It's up to 226 now. So of course, there is no Steph Curry, right? He got hurt in that last game against the Houston Rockets the other day. So that's the first thing I think we got to call. Make sure we put on our, bring to our attention is that Steph is going to be out. Al Horford's going to be out. Milton is also out. Kuminga is listed as questionable, and then Gary Payton is listed as probable. On the Pelican side of things, super long injury list as well. You need to know what's going on with Trey Murphy. He's listed as questionable. Jordan Hawkins is out. Zion is in, but no Jordan Poole, no DeJounte Murray either. So we got to keep all that, take all that into consideration. The Trey Murphy news, I think, is the big one in this game. If Trey Murphy doesn't play, I kind of feel like we see, not that the Warriors are great defensively, they've actually been giving it up a lot, but I kind of think that we see like a pretty good effort from the Golden State Warriors. This feels like the game that Steph's missed, and everybody kind of buys in. You see, big performances. I'm not sure who's going to be, so it's really hard for me to pick that role player for the Warriors. But Richards, who's been starting recently, Pods, who is due for a big breakout game in my opinion. I love Moses Moody. Like, one of those guys, in my opinion, are going to absolutely go off. You got a Pelicans defense that's been, pretty subpar. And you also got, so let's start with what I got in my notes. So Pelicans are well rested. They do have double-digit in-season revenge. This is the first leg of a back-to-back. They got a game against the Lakers tomorrow in LA. And then you got Golden State off 2 days rest. They're coming off that 4-point loss to Houston. Draymond was very adamant. Jimmy Butler was very adamant about how they're not playing a lot of defense. But now you get this Pelicans offense without Trey Murphy, potentially. And I think it could get really, really bad, man. You just got to be able to slow down Zion Williamson, which I think Golden State should be able to do that. Like, I don't think they're going to let his athleticism beat him. So initially what I had wrote in my notes was Pelicans team total under 108.5. That number should be up now because the total has gone up. Golden State will have to win the game with the defense, in my opinion. Last 5 games, they're bottom 10 in pace as well. And then, just on cleaning the glass, I looked at their offensive rating, both with and without Steph. And of course, it takes a big drop. Now, granted, the Pelicans defense isn't great. So it makes it a tough game. I guess if I'm playing, I don't really want to lay this many points with the Warriors, but I could see them cleaning up the Pelicans if Trey Murphy doesn't play, because I just think that they're going to be too limited offensively, especially with Herb Jones being out as well. So I say all that to say, maybe a Pelicans team total under. I'm not sure if I actually get to anything in this game. I did look at a couple player props. The first one was Derek Queen over at 6.5 boards with 21 minutes and 10 plus rebound chances, which is what he's averaging. He's averaging 11.7 rebound chances. But when he plays 20 plus minutes, which he has most of the games, he's cleared that line in 8 of his 11 games. So I think Derek Queen should be able to go out there and get 7 boards. Also consider Draymond assists, 5.5. He's right at 6 on the season. The Pelicans give up the 6 most assists on the season. Draymond's over in 5 straight games. He's had 6, right at 6. The last time that these two teams played without Steph, that's another ball handler. Somebody's going to have to make more plays. So it's either going to be because I consider Jimmy assists as well. I think that they could potentially run the offense through Jimmy today. And if they run the offense through Jimmy, it could be Jimmy's assists. So Draymond assists, Jimmy assists, Draymond points. He's actually been scoring the basketball as well. His threes typically are right about even, minus 115-ish. For him to hit 2, that's been something that's cashed a lot recently. So those are ways that, just different, betting ideas. But I didn't pull a trigger on anything in this game. See what you guys are thinking, and then I will move on to the next. Mark says, really want to take New Orleans, but don't feel like sweating. Parlay J says he likes Zion over his 21.5 points. Let's see. Parlay J says a moving big is the Warriors' weakness, especially if with that injury list for the Warriors. And if Trey is out, even better. Okay. No Curry, tough game. Golden State after a loss, bounce back third quarter, maybe. I could definitely see that, Brian. But we don't really know what the Warriors look like, without Steph. Last time we seen the Warriors without Steph was against the Timberwolves, right? Last season in the playoffs. And I mean, that was a playoff. So you can't compare that to playing against the Pelicans, in my opinion. Free Sauce says he'll go Zion, rebounds and assists. Think he gets 10. Rehab says he'll go Brzezinski under his 3.5 assists. Draymond under his points, rebounds, and assists for Free Sauce. No Steph. He gives minus 100% effort, Free Sauce says. I don't know, man. I feel like after talking the way that he was talking, about the defense, I feel like you get a big game from Draymond in this one. Him and Jimmy Butler going to have to lead the troops today. I mean, you're not going to find too many softer defenses in the NBA than the Pelicans. Real quick, if we look at the Pelicans, let's see their last few games. I know that they had the upset win against the Bulls, but that was because of their offense. So they lost to the Grizzlies, gave up 133. Lost to the Bulls, gave up 130. You're not going to find too many better defenses than this. Too many worse defenses than this. The Grizzlies' offense isn't even that great. But their offense has been scoring. They back-to-back overs. Before that, it was back-to-back unders to Dallas and Atlanta. Just got to factor in when Zion came back. But keep in mind, first leg of a back-to-back as well. The Warriors will be playing their fourth straight home game. They do have the Thunder coming to town, but that's not until Tuesday. Not until Tuesday. So take all that information, do what you want. I think I'm going to stay off of this one. Let's see. 77 figure says Warriors without Steph are the Nets. Damn. Oh man, that's terrible. That's terrible. Curry sat against the Pacers and the Warriors covered that 13-point spread. You're right, Tatiana. I'm glad you mentioned that. They did cover that 13-point spread. That's a fact. You're right. And I think you get a motivated Warriors team in this spot too. So that's my thought process. All right, last game I want to talk about before we go rapid fire through the other ones is this Nuggets and Suns game, man. Injury report wise, both teams, of course, can submit late. We know for Denver, they'll be without Christian Braun and Aaron Gordon, of course. And then on the Phoenix side of things, we gotta wait. I don't think that the guys are gonna come back. Remember, last night they played without what's his name, Grayson Allen. They were also without a couple other players. I can't remember exactly who they were, but Phoenix, man, I watched Phoenix catch fire last night against the Oklahoma City Thunder in the fourth quarter, and ended up not even covering, but they had a chance to win that game. Now, granted, a lot of those shots, in my opinion, Royce O'Neal hit like 3 threes in the fourth quarter. He was banking them in. Like, I think some of that was just them getting hot at the right time. But we started looking at the situational spot, and Denver also got out to a big lead last night, and then just kind of just gave it up all throughout the rest of the game. Halftime, I think they were winning by like 18 points, and then just got hawked down by the Spurs in Denver. So a second leg of back-to-back third game. Second leg of back-to-back with Denver. They did have 3 days off of rest before the Spurs came to town last night. Now, Phoenix, this line has come all the way down. Yesterday, I wrote in my notes 6.5. It's come all the way down to 3.5. I think a lot of that is, I don't know if it's public money or not, just, thinking about how good Phoenix has been at home. But it's not the greatest spot for Phoenix. Second leg of back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, 4th and 6th, and 5th and 7th with travel from a very, very, highly contested, high-energy, scrappy performance last night for the Phoenix Suns. Can Denver come in here and win this game by 4 points? Shorthanded. It's just a lot of variables. I thought about this game for like 30 minutes last night. It's a lot of moving parts, in my opinion, which is why I didn't play the game. Denver is on the second leg of a back-to-back, but we remember how good they were last year when they were on the second leg of a back-to-back. I think they won like their first 7 or 8 games in a row when they were playing unrested. And I think Phoenix could potentially run out of gas in this spot. I don't know. Maybe it's a look towards the under, thinking that Denver bounce back and play better defensively in this game after, giving up a boatload of points to the Spurs last night. Phoenix, of course, defensively has been a lot better at home. I think if I had to play, that's the way that I would play. I could see Phoenix running out of gas in this spot. But Denver going to have to bring it a little bit more than they did last night. Got to do a little bit better than that. I just think it's based on rest, based on Denver losing the game last night. I think Phoenix was going to lose the game regardless. I like how scrappy they were. I think I'd probably buck the trend, look towards Denver, and look towards the under in this game. Thinking a little bit of a bounce back spot for Denver. And then, like I said, Denver just has significant rest. Not yesterday. Both teams have to travel to Phoenix, but they have significant rest because they had 3 days off before, whereas Phoenix is playing 5th game in 7 nights. Not a spot I'm really willing to take too often. So that's my thought process. Super tricky game. Super tricky game. But I expect a lot of people to like Phoenix. It makes sense for people to like Phoenix in this game. I won't be one of them, though. I won't be betting Phoenix. I'm going over that game in just a second, Tatiana, because I got some things I want to share in that game. Brian says Phoenix pretty scrappy. I like points in the paint. Nuggets, something wrong with them. What happened last time the Suns were on a back-to-back? Smoked by the Rockets. Let's look at Suns real quick this season when they're unrested. That's a fact. That's the Rockets, though. They did get smoked by the Rockets. Lost that game by 22 points. They were getting 6.5 in that spot. They lost to the Nuggets earlier this season in this spot, too. But the Nuggets were fully healthy. I think this was like one of the first games of the season. They beat them. The Nuggets beat them 133 to 111. That game was in Denver as well. This one, the Suns sucked. I remember this. And then the Suns did beat the Pacers. So they 1-2, straight up 1-2 against the number. So far this season. Let's see what else y'all saying. Y'all give me something. Give me something here. Free Sauce says Jokic don't care what happens as long as he gets a triple-double and his team makes the playoff. I think you want to win. 77 figures says Suns plus 3.5. Top spot today. Nuggets ain't in on the road laying points. No Aaron Gordon. Denver a different ball club. Kind of agree with that. And that's why I didn't bet it. But I do think the Suns run out of gas in this spot. I mean, they exerted a lot of energy to come back and keep that game close last night, battling. Starters played big minutes last night. Real quick, let me just double check. I know Devin Booker was leading the team in minutes going into the fourth quarter. Let me see what he finished with. They all played north. Well, Mark Williams only played 22, but everybody else played north of 30. Maurice O'Neal played 29. Iguodala plays 22 off the bench. Jordan Goodwin actually hit a big 3 in the fourth quarter. He played 26. Dylan Brooks played 40. Devin Booker played 40. I think I like under. Man. I think I might bet the under, actually. Let's see what the best line is. Because the more I think about them, I think this game's going to be played slow. Phoenix has been one of the better defensive teams at home this season. I think I like under. I think I'm going to bet under in this game. The more I think about it, the more it makes sense. I just need a pen. Let's see. So best under right now is under 232.5 on BetMGM. Yeah. All right, cool. I think this game goes under. I feel like 5th game in 7 nights have been under spot so far this season as well. Jokic using merchant, the usage merchant will get his triple double, but it will be in a loss. 77 Vegas says. What's up, Saturated? Appreciate you for tapping in. Time Out Sports says Jokic was literally jumping up and down last night when he didn't agree with calls. He wants to win. That's a fact. Yeah. If you don't think Jokic want to win, you ain't watching the games. I think Colin Gillespie should play. I didn't see anything that would say that he wouldn't. Devin Booker on back-to-back is good money versus Nuggets. Dropped 34 early this season in Denver on a back-to-back. That's a fact. So I do remember that. Late Baraka with Siakam, 25 points. We haven't even got to that game yet, so you good. Pick and roll, second chance, getting 74% of his points from there. Siakam, okay. Yeah, I mean, somebody going to score against the Bulls, probably with a blindfold on. I like this under, though. I like the under. Since I'm with you on Denver here, some read, same read as you, Chris. Home team, off a loss, as a road fave. Suns had a get-up spot last night. Only thing is Denver trends over on back-to-backs and off a loss. I need to look into that a little bit more. I think Phoenix at the crib, though, defensively is going to give. I think they can give them fits, though. Maybe not matching up against Jokic. I don't really trust those role players for Denver that's stepped in and, you know, like Peyton Watson. Like Denver's missing a lot, in my opinion. Now, granted, Jokic is going to be able to find anybody, but I just kind of feel like I think I like the under more than anything else. Let's see if I'm right or not. Let's just go home road splits real quick. Damn, Denver #1 offensive rated team on the road. Hey, they Suns 9-2 against the spread at home. Suns 8-3 to the under at home. Denver is 5-4 to the over on the road. Well, 5-4 to the over on the road. In the first half, they're 5-3-1 to the under. As a home dog, Suns 3-1 to the under. Suns are fourth best defensive rated team at home. And the Nuggets are first offensive rated team. It's either Denver and man, I think I'm going to stay off. I think I'm going to chill. But if I had to bet, I think I would bet under. I think I bet under. Yeah, I think it's too many points, man. I do. Both teams 15th and 18th as far as pace goes. And it's just that fifth game in 7 night spots where the Suns could run out of gas, especially after a hard-fought one last night. It's a good game to watch and live bet on the spread. P says fading Phoenix at home isn't fun, but I think it's the right play. I want to. If they had everybody, I'd be on Denver today in a bounce back spot. Let's just look up a couple more things real quick. Let's look at the Nugget. Well, it really don't matter though. I was gonna say look at the Nuggets when they're unrested. They're 2-1 straight up, 2-1 against the spread. Don't matter because the personnel is different. Off a loss this season, the Nuggets are 4-0 straight up, 2-0, 2-2 against the spread, 4-0 to the over. I think ISO just said that. Oso just said that 4-0 to the over that sucks. Suns, they play. Kings, they play. So 2 of these were at home. 2 pretty terrible defenses at the time. And then the Pelicans and the Grizzlies. So they haven't played against this good of a defense in this environment. The Suns at home are better than the Suns on the road. So I think I still like under. 17 Vegas says, Chris, you a Laker head. How long before Bron crash out? Because they turning them into a 15. Honestly, 77. I think about this a lot, man. I think Bron's role. I watched the game last night. I think Bron's role is so much different than it's ever been because Luka is there being the #1 guy, and then Austin Reeves is just playing so well right now. I'm just hopeful that Bron can see this from a long-term perspective, which I feel like he should. Bron has a lot of wisdom, and in my opinion, this is what you want if you're Bron, because then you want to be in your best. You want to be the best version of yourself in the fourth quarter of the season, going into the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like you want to just go out there and be hoping Marcus Smart and Rui Hachimura are having big games, in my opinion. Like you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself and Luka and even Austin Reeves. I mean, I know they're gonna have to perform nightly, but you want, Jackson Hayes to, have 15 and 10, like those type of games. So you don't have to do as much during the regular season. So I'm hopeful that Bron is just embracing it. That's my thought process. Miami money line, Denver under 233.5 favorite plays, Mark says. So he agrees. Yeah, it's a fact. They just have a lot more rest, Felix. Like once you understand that rest, and it don't happen every single time, but like I'm not betting on a team in the 5th game in 7 nights, especially after you just played the Thunder the night before. Not for my money, man. Not for my money. I don't care what the line go down to. Like Jokic would have to be out for me to bet on Phoenix. I'm not betting on Phoenix tonight, man. But I understand people that are. Like it makes sense. All right, let's go through the other games that I didn't get a chance to. That I didn't make graphics for. So first one up that I didn't go through is let's see. Is Toronto and Charlotte. So let's go back to the top of my notes real quick. So RJ is listed as out for Toronto, and I saw Brandon Miller listed as questionable, even though Charlotte can submit their injury report late. Who knows if LaMelo is going to play in this game? This line did open up at 7.5. It's all the way up as high as 9 now. I see a 9.5 on BetMGM as well. The total has come down, which makes a lot of sense. If I was thinking last night, and what I wrote in my notes was Charlotte team total under. This was open at 233.5. I saw 231.5, but open at 233.5. And it's just not a great spot for Charlotte, but it's also not the great spot for Toronto. Toronto has the rest advantage. They are playing the first leg of a back-to-back. They got a big game against the Knicks tomorrow. That's a big measuring stick type game for Toronto, a team that's, overseeded expectations so far in the Eastern Conference. I mean, you will hope RJ comes back. I'm not sure when he's due to come back, but they will probably be in trouble tomorrow. So they have the rest advantage in this spot, like I said. And on the opposite side of Charlotte, playing second leg of back-to-back, they got in-season revenge. They did cover the last time they were in Toronto, coming off the win as a dog against Chicago last night in their 3rd straight home game. So a couple things I looked at. Charlotte is 3-1 to the under when they're playing unrested. That lends itself to an under. They're also 7-1 to the under this season as a home dog, including 4 straight unders. Another reason to like the under. They have covered every single game Charlotte has when they've been playing unrested this season. Those came against the Wizards, though. One of them did come against OKC where they were getting a boatload of points. The other came against Utah and then against the Toronto Raptors as well. They're just 1-3 against the spread when they're playing off a win this season. So typically they've struggled to put together back-to-back really, good performances. What I ended up coming up with and what I like ultimately in this game, I didn't play it yet, was the Toronto team total over. I do think that they'll be able to score the basketball in this game. I looked at Charlotte. They're giving up 123 points per game in their last 5, which is the 4th most. They're also allowing the 3rd most assists per game. So I looked at Jamal Shead. He's over in 3 straight games where he's played at least 18 minutes without RJ. He should see an uptick in minutes as well. He could get some of those minutes. And then Charlotte, I mentioned this already, but they allowed the 4th most assists on the season. Shead with 10 potential assists or more. He's gone over in 4 straight games, which is what he's averaging for the season. So Jamal Shead over 5.5 assists. I considered quickly as well. Didn't play either yet, but Shead numbers hasn't moved a lot. I wrote this down in my notes last night. So I thought about Shead. I thought about, Toronto to be able to score the basketball in this spot. If Charlotte has everybody out there, I do think that I think that Toronto will be able to score. Now, if Charlotte doesn't have everybody out there, their offense will probably be able to struggle to generate points consistently. But 118.5, I think Toronto should be able to get to 120 in this game. So that's my thought process on that one. Let's see. Chicago, Indiana went through Detroit. Brooklyn and Milwaukee. That's a gross number, man. It's a super gross number. I didn't think the number would be double digits. So Brooklyn, of course, is absolutely terrible. And on the road, they're going to be getting a lot more points than they get at home. They absolutely got the doors blown off last night by the Philadelphia 76ers. And we talked about liking the Sixers team total over in the first quarter. Could be a Milwaukee first quarter team total over. Milwaukee's not in the greatest spot. Brooklyn, you want to see what happens with Michael Porter Jr. Of course, he didn't play last night. They're still without Cam Thomas. This offense is just putrid. I think Free Sauce mentioned it at the top of the show, but team total under has been something that's been absolute money. I didn't think the Sixers could hold anybody, down like they did last night, but they even held this Brooklyn offense down last night. I'm watching Brooklyn play last night. I'm watching a lot of that 76ers game. Don't ask me why. But I'm watching a lot of that game last night, and they literally just shoot a bunch of threes and hope that they go in. Like they just that's all they want to do. It's like pickup basketball in Brooklyn. So you got them on the second leg of a back-to-back. They have been coverless on the second leg of a back-to-back, 0-3 against the number. Each of their losses have come by 13 points or more. to the Knicks, to the Timberwolves, and then that first game to the Rockets when they were playing in Houston. They only average 106 points in this spot. So it makes sense, in my opinion, while the total has come down from 224 all the way down to 221. But the Bucks are also not in the greatest spot, right? Giannis did say he would play after, losing in the Garden last night. They came out and played really, really well in the first half. I think they were shooting north of like 46% from the three-point line in the first half, and then the third quarter happened, and the Knicks in the fourth quarter happened, and the Knicks just kind of ran away with it late and still end up covering that game, even though they were losing at halftime. So now you get the Bucks on the second leg of back-to-back, third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6. I think they should be able to smother this Brooklyn team as far as being able to score, but maybe you want to wait and see what happens with MPJ. 11 is a lot to lay, though. A lot of lumber to lay with the Bucks. Granted, it's Brooklyn, but that's a lot of lumber to lay. And I heard Giannis post-game last night say, we really just want to win, man. Like, we've lost 7 games in a row. I can't remember the last time I've lost this many games in a row. I wrote down Brooklyn team total under in my notes, but not anything that I played. And then I think we went through all the rest of them, right? Yeah, we went through that. The only other game was Dallas and the Clippers. And man, you talk about a terrible game. That is atrocious. So AD came back last night. He's already been ruled out in this game. It's still a long, laundry list of injuries for this Dallas Mavericks team. They will be without Lively, without Anthony Davis, without Kyrie, without JaXon. The Clippers do expect Kawhi Leonard to play. He did look super aggressive in the first half last night. I think he cashed his points prop pretty easily. Bogdanovich is listed as TBD. Same thing with Jordan Miller. Derek White continues to be out. Derek Jones Jr. continues to be out. So the Clippers are laying the same number that they laid last night against the Grizzlies. They came out, actually had like a double-digit lead in that game, but it's not sustainable with them. Not able to maintain. So they give up the big lead and end up losing to the Grizzlies last night. And I don't remember a Clippers team being this bad. Like, this is this bottom of the barrel Clippers team. This team is 5-14 against the 5-14 straight up, 5-14 against the number. They've covered one of their spreads at home. 1-8 against the number. By default, you kind of got to take Dallas. At least Dallas has covered. They've only won one of their 6 road games, but at least they covered 3 of the 6. Like, it's short travel, right? To go from LA to LA. Like, it's not a lot of travel. Clippers have beaten the Dallas Mavericks 3 straight times. They've covered all 3 spreads. The Dallas Mavericks are playing their 3rd straight road game. They got a day off tomorrow. Then they go to Denver to finish out the road trip. They've lost 3 straight, but they were competitive against the Lakers, and they covered the 10. They just didn't cover the 9.5, which money did come in on Dallas last night to cover. So on the looks, it says that they didn't cover, but they were getting 10 at one time. So depending on what number you got, I just can't lay it with the Clippers, man. Like, sometimes it's really that simple, right? Like, they've lost 3 straight. They haven't covered any of them. It's their 2nd game back home after the super long 6-game road trip. Or 7-game road trip, whatever it was. And they go back on the road. So they got, pack up today. Tomorrow will be a travel day. And they play in Miami and Atlanta coming up. So just terrible, I think pretty clear, still terrible, spot for the Clippers. And they just don't got enough, in my opinion. Offensively, if James Harden and Kawhi Leonard aren't cooking, especially if Bojan Bogdanović is not going to play, their offense just really, really shrinks up, man. They scored 107 points against the Grizzlies last night. You know how bad your offense got to be to only get to 107 against the Grizzlies? Grizzlies just gave up 130 to the Pelicans. So yeah, it by default it'd be Dallas, but I'm not playing this game. Like, I'm not playing it. Total has moved up from 219 up to 222.5, 223 as well. 1-800 gambler game. I agree with that. That's just my thought, though. Everybody not gonna agree with it. All right, let's go through the comments real quick, and then I'll tell you guys. I'll get into a quick recap as well. Let's see. Raptors by 15. Parlay J says, Free Sauce says RJ gonna come back tomorrow for that next game. We shall see. I don't know what the updated injury timeline is for RJ, but it would make sense, Free Sauce, for him to come back and want to play at MSG tomorrow against his old team. Parlay J, look at the Hornets team total on back-to-backs and as a home dog, auto unders. Yep, we talked about it. Raptors by 15-20. We all know he ain't missing that game versus his old team. Not enough likes, Anthony says. It's kind of crazy, man. I don't do it for the likes. I do it for the people, man. The real ones know. Ryan says Charlotte plus 8.5 at home. I believe they get the cover. Tough, though. Kobe under 21.5 under both games without RJ, Mamush Kilishvili, or however you spell it, will be balling. And Scotty and Ingram have been playing above their means in RJ's absence. Freesaw says Charlotte team total under 109 is valid as well. Brian asking about Knipple says I had his points last night. He went under. Maybe I'll go back to him. Yeah, Toronto's not the greatest three-point defense in the NBA. I was looking into that earlier as well. Jet Light says Nembhard from Dallas over his points prop. He was hooping against the Lakers last night. Potentially. Maybe even like some Najee Marshall props. I feel like without AD there, he could grab a few more boards. And the Clippers, their defense has just been atrocious, man. I never thought I'd see a Ty Lue defense look this bad. I want to give you guys the numbers. I was looking at this last night. So the Clippers defensively are, just look at this real quick. The Clippers are the 26th rated defense. Now, we've seen the Clippers offense struggle over the years because Kawhi Leonard's been in and out of the rotation. I'm talking about even before James Harden got there, right? But like defensively, you're 26th in the league with a 120 defensive rating. It's atrocious, man. It is absolutely atrocious. In home games, you are 24th defensively, 119 defensive rating. Like it's bad. It is so bad. Last 5 games, you are 30th in defensive rating. Worst defensive rated team in the NBA, 126.89. Your defense worse than the Jazz and the Bulls in the last 5 games. Like, man, I never thought I'd see this with Ty Lue, man. I like Ty Lue as a coach. It's terrible, though. Freesaw says, I don't know, Brian. Depends on who defends him. He's most likely going to get Ingram or Scotty Barnes. Most likely Ingram. Not a great matchup for him. What else y'all seeing? I like the Mavericks here. Clippers plus 6.5. Fade in the fourth quarter. They run out of gas. Mavs plus 7.5. No way the Clippers should be laying this many points. Why are they still laying this many points, though? Like, it's interesting, in my opinion. Brian says first half, maybe. I ain't betting that game, man. I'm so done with the Clippers. Yeah, I've lost $0 fading. Well, you know what? I lost some money fading the Clippers. When James Harden turned into Houston Rockets James Harden against the Philadelphia 76ers a couple weeks ago, and I had Philly minus, what was it, 3.5, 2.5, or something like that. And James Harden just wouldn't stop hitting three-pointers all the way until 0.08 seconds left. Just 3 after 3 after 3, and Philly couldn't guard anybody. Outside of that, yeah, I've lost too much money with them. All right, so short list is here. If I can get the low. All right. Boston, Minnesota under 227. Dante DiVincenzo under his 3.5 assists. I talked about these at the beginning of the show. Let's see. Go through the rest of this. Toronto, Charlotte. It'd be Charlotte team total over 118.5. Let's see. Jamal Shed over 5.5 assists. Chicago and Indiana. I would need to wait on the injury report, but only way to look in that game would be Indiana plus the 4. You still can get a 4. Looks like the number is going down, but Indy plus 4. I kind of like the under in that game too, man. Indy, Chicago under 242, but I want to wait. You know what? I'm going to take that off. I'm going to see if Nembhard plays first before playing that game. Top look of the day, in my opinion, is still Miami. Even at the current number, minus the 3.5. I think they win and cover. Brooklyn, Milwaukee. It's the Brooklyn team total under. What is that number? What's the best number you can get? God damn, that's low. 104.5. Sometimes it's low for a reason. I probably won't even play it that low, though. That's a little too low. Full game under as well, though. Golden State, New Orleans. I want to see what happens with Trey Murphy in that game. Denver and Phoenix. I like the under, man. I do like the under. That's the one thing that really kind of jumps off the page to me. Under 232.5. Available on BetMGM, like we talked about. And then by default, Like, not that I like the team or think that they're good, but it's got to be Dallas. Even without AD, it's got to be Dallas plus the 7. Only way I think I could look at it, I see nothing from Phoenix. I mean, from the Clippers, make me want to lay that many points for them. So it's a short list. We'll be back tomorrow. About 9 more games tomorrow on the board. Resources are all linked in the description of the video. Check out JaXon, Outlier, Moneyballer, Odds Jam. As always, and hit the like button, man. Share the show, subscribe to the channel, turn notification bell on, and I will catch you guys in the morning, man. I'm out.